That's my favorite part about this job is investigating stuff like that. Cops and police departments and even deputies, they respond to a call. They get there and they do the initial investigation, but then if it needs more investigating, someone else takes over.
Yeah.
We're first on scene, we're the detectives, we're the evidence gatherers, we're everyone.
Yeah.
So I say all the time, what do game wardens do? We're really investigating homicides every day. It's just not people homicides.
That's cool.
We're investigating deaths like you would a homicide, but
Yeah.
we're doing it for things that can't speak for themselves.
Welcome to the Round Here podcast, presented by the Heritage Group Real Estate Company. Whether you're driving a back road, working cattle, baling hay on a hot summer day, or cooking breakfast in the duck blind, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us as a few good old boys from around here sit down with folks that live just right down the road to share their stories, their memories, and what makes this place home. This is the Round Here podcast. Well, guys, Kurt, you're our guest. I guess most people know you as a Crawford County game warden, but some folks know you as Mr. Green Jeans.
That's correct. Yep,
or
all
Mr.
sorts of
Possum
things.
Cop.
Yep.
Or whatever they say when you're not around.
Yeah, we probably can't say that.
Yeah, don't say that on air. Well, cool, buddy. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself personally. Where are you from, where you grew up, and how you became a game warden.
Yes, sir. So I grew up just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You're an Okie.
I'm an Okie.
Wow,
yes, sir.
golly.
Yes, sir. I went to college in Missouri at Missouri State and studied wildlife management.
Cool.
And then never had any ties to Arkansas, but applied for the Arkansas Game and Fish in 2018 when they were advertising employment.
Yeah.
And went through the hiring process, got hired, and didn't know if I'd stay in Arkansas or not, but fell in love with it and don't have any plans to leave.
Good, man.
Have you always been a Crawford County game warden?
I got assigned to Crawford County right out of the
Right out of the
academy
gate.
in 2018. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I've also seen you in Sebastian County working Fort Chaffee.
Fort Chaffee
Checked
is a
me
big
out
one.
there
Yep,
before.
I have. Yep. So my job's a little different than another normal game warden. I'm one of our 10 canine officers in the state.
That's cool.
So I go all over the place with my dog Ruby and work a lot of different counties that normal game wardens wouldn't get to go to.
That's awesome, man. Well, cool. Well, today, if you're watching this live, if you're just listening, you don't see this, but I've got a box full. It's an old shoe box, and my grandpa was the game warden for Crawford County for 40 years. I used to always say 30 years, but he was actually a game warden for 39 years, so 40.
That's
We're rounding
crazy.
up.
That's a long time.
But 39 years, he was a Crawford County game warden, and I brought today, and I'm actually going to give you one as a gift, Kurt, but I brought all of his old ticket books.
That's awesome.
I've probably here's his actual pouch that he carried day to day, and it's got 3 or 4 in there from the 80s and I think 79 is about the oldest one that's
Wow.
in here.
What year did he start?
I don't know, man. I really don't. He passed away in 2016. He retired, I want to say, in 2014.
Okay.
So I guess he was good at math. We could probably do that
We
math.
figure that out, yeah.
39 years for that. But these are kind of cool. Back then, I'm sure you don't do this anymore, do you?
We still handwrite tickets, but they look a lot different than that.
Well, cool, man. I was telling Joe before, I was like, it cracks me up, like employment, unemployed contractor or construction guy. Like, it cracks me up that he like made these little side notes. And on some of these, man, now, I wouldn't say this while he's working, but I'll say this now. It would be hilarious because, and I think maybe you told me this, that a lot of these were court, so he'd remember it for court.
Mm-hmm. The little notes.
But
yeah.
he'd make these
yeah.
little notes, and I wish I could find y'all one right off the bat. But he would say, like, chubby one is mouthy, skinny one didn't say much. Or so he would say, like, the wildest things. This one's from 1991, actually, so that's pretty
Wow,
cool.
that's really neat.
Yep.
I always heard that he would write his own mom a ticket.
I promise you.
Yeah. That's what you always heard about David Wilson.
Yeah, kind of a funny story about him. One time we were we were fishing on Mulberry Lake. My stepdad's a big fisherman. And I still don't know where he was sitting to see us, but he had this little honey hole that he hid in. We've been fishing all day, and I don't know, it's noon or so. And I wish I remember what I was throwing, but say I'm throwing a spinnerbait. He calls me, and I'm like, hey, Paul, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm just trying to figure out how long you're going to throw that spinner bait before you realize there ain't no fish hitting that thing. And I'm like, where you at? Where you at? And I sit there and Mulberry, if y'all know Mulberry Lake, and if you're from around here, you'll know Mulberry Lake ain't big at all.
There's not many places to hide.
I'm just staring. I'm like, I'm going to see him at some point. And he's like, I'm sitting here in my truck. I'm just watching you. And so we get back to the boat ramp later on, and we didn't catch a lot. And get back to the boat ramp, and of course my stepdad says, I don't even know what that is to him. His son-in-law.
Yeah.
So he gets back to the boat ramp, and we're sitting there talking. He's like, how many did y'all catch? Oh, not very many. And then he's like, well, Anthony, let me see your license real quick. And my dad kind of had like almost wait, you're going to check me? And I was like, I ain't about to not let you go, not check you. And he made the joke. He's like, you're going to fish with my grandson. You're going to follow the rules. So that's a funny story.
Did he have his license?
Huh? He did. He did have his license.
That's
he
good.
did. And when I turned 16, my grandpa bought me my lifetime license.
That's
so
awesome.
I have my lifetime hunting and fishing license. And he told me when he handed it to me, he's like, there should be no reason you ever get in trouble by a game warden.
Yeah.
You should have a license every year for the rest of your life.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I suggest to our listeners. Get your youth while they're young. I think it was I don't know what it is now. It was $1,000 when I was 16. And for $1,000, especially if you know your kid's going to hunt the rest of his life, I hunt all seasons. I think at like 30 something, it will pay for itself.
Yep.
The only thing you have to go buy is your federal duck stamp. So you got to go get your federal duck stamp. But other than that, everything else paid for.
Yeah, and if they end up moving out of state,
Yep.
you can still have your resident privileges in Arkansas, which is awesome.
Which is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Really, I should probably move out west, kill my elk, and then come back here. Yeah, come back here.
One thing, though, you're talking about your grandpa, watching you guys fish, you had no idea where he was at.
Yeah.
You ever notice game wardens just pop into existence sometimes? It's like, where did he come from?
Yeah.
You know?
We got a family member that one time at a birthday party told him, you couldn't sneak up on me when I'm turkey hunting because I'm in stealth mode. I could catch you. He went and tapped on his shoulder.
I've heard that story.
Yeah. He said, I came out of my soul. I'll sneak up on you. I promise you.
Myself and a lot of other game wardens, that's one of our best compliments we can receive is, man, where'd you come from?
Yeah.
We like to sneak up on people.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm sure you startle a lot of deer hunters.
Yeah.
Well, man, now
and everybody just gets nervous though when they see the green jeans.
They do.
Dude, I've known Kurt since he first came, and I'm still like, oh god, there's a game warden truck.
Yeah,
it's probably that extra limit of ducks I have in the back of my truck. But no, so you've lived in Crawford County since 2018.
Since 2018, yes, sir.
And so you live, and you've got 30, 40 acres? What do you?
Yeah, 35 acres.
35
natural
acres.
dam. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. So not only do you also live the life that you're protecting and going to work every day. I really like that, so, especially in real estate. We run into that a lot. These guys are talking about how they're land experts and they know all this stuff, and you find out they live in the middle of Greenwood or Fort Smith, and you're like,
come from a big
you
city.
live in a quarter-acre lot in the middle of town. You're talking about how you know everything about land. You own land.
Sure.
So,
and you'll see that a lot with a lot of us is we're in this job because we have a passion for the resource. We love to hunt and fish and be outside.
Sure.
So I'd say 90% of us are big time outdoorsmen ourselves.
I've seen you work firsthand. We called you out 2 or 3 years ago on opening day of rifle season. That's the first time we actually met.
Yeah.
My wife had shot a buck and it got on the neighbor's property, and we were tracking it, and we had a tracking dog out, and that tracking dog trailed up 2 fawns that had been poached and stuffed under a log. So we wound up calling you guys out, and you did quick work. I mean, we took you over there and showed it. Of course, I was limping. That's when I hurt my knee.
That's
I
right.
Barely
I
get over. I didn't want to take you back over there. But,
that was pretty steep terrain too.
That was the right thing to do, is get you guys over there. And you guys went to work, took pictures, and then just the stuff you guys picked up on over there that led to going catching the guy that did it. You guys found places where other deer had laid that he had shot, and just pieced it together really fast. I think you called me 3 hours later and said, "Man, we got that one put together." He was a little reluctant, but he didn't do nothing by the book, and glad you called and glad we get that solved. I mean, just
that was a good case, and I don't remember every detail of it. We see stuff
see
like that
Yeah,
every year, but I remember that guy.
Occurrence.
He killed 2 over his limit because he was actually hunting on a WMA. He come in off of private property, but was hunting Lee Creek,
and shot
4 deer, and just stuffed the 2 fawns under a log. And we actually found, if I remember right, we found where he crossed the fence.
Yeah, there was a pull ladder that went over the barbed wire.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
went over there and they found the blood that went over the
Right
top
over
of
the
where
pull ladder.
he
Right,
took them
so-
over. And
We had to go talk to that landowner and find out who he was letting hunt that morning, and we ended up finding out who did it. And
That's awesome.
that was a great one because it worked out. A lot of times, you know,
Yeah.
we don't get so
It's a
lucky.
whirlwind.
You know? Right.
Yeah, you don't know
Yeah.
what. I mean, you just
Yeah.
got to hope somebody
Yeah.
pops up or says something
Mhm.
wrong.
And that's my favorite part about this job is investigating stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
cops and police departments and even deputies, they respond to a call and then they get there and they do the initial investigation. But then if it needs more investigating, someone else takes over.
Yeah.
With
detective
us,
steps in.
we're first on scene. We're the detectives. We're the
Yeah.
evidence gatherers. We're everyone.
Yeah.
So tell it all the time. What do game wardens do? We're really investigating homicides every day. It's
Yeah.
just not people
People.
homicides.
That's
you know,
cool,
we're
man.
investigating deaths like you would a homicide, but
Yeah.
we're doing it for things that can't speak for themselves.
And you
So,
truly love your job. I mean, that's what I think that's so neat. My grandpa, and you can probably speak to this. He was excited. You know, most people get called in work. I worked at a water department at one
Mhm.
point. When somebody calls you about a water leak at midnight, it's not that exciting. You're
Yeah,
like,
no,
I hate
don't
my
wanna
job.
handle
You're
that.
sitting there late in bed. You're like, I hate my. If I quit tomorrow, could I do something else?
Yeah.
And then, but with you guys, I mean, I can remember really well staying out with my grandpa, and it'd be 10, 11 o'clock, and somebody'd call, hey, there's a guy over here in natural damn spotlight, and he'd
Mhm.
throw on that jacket and take off. And he came back, and some of my favorite stories, favorite memories, he'd come back to the house, and then I get to like hear like what was going on, or like, well, did he find him? Did you see him? What, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And 10 or 12-year-old Elijah would just ate up with that. Like, my
Mhm.
grandpa's a superhero. I mean, that guy
That's
He
awesome.
could stop anybody, you know?
Yep.
And it's kind of cool. You look up here, and I actually need to grab that photo. I'm going to grab that. This photo here is my grandpa when he retired. They came. That guy's name's Jason something. I don't remember his
Jason
name.
Phillips.
Jason Phillips.
Yep.
He came and actually got the deer that my grandpa made that deer decoy.
I've got
Uh,
that decoy at my house.
Do you?
Yep.
That's
we still use it.
That is amazing. Yeah. So
Yep.
my grandpa made that deer decoy. Him and Scott Rome, local
Mhm.
taxidermist, put that thing together, and he'd set it out in fields. And there's a story, and I wish so bad I would have recorded him. But there's a story of one night got shot 16 different times.
16.
16
By
different
16 people or
16
someone?
different people.
Boy, he was in a hot spot.
Oh yeah, he was. They were putting extra hides on it and everything else just to cover up holes because it was just blown to pieces. The horns are falling off. I mean, he's like, by the end of it, he's like, I almost felt bad for these guys because they're shooting a deer that don't even look
That's
like
awesome.
a deer. Like, what are
Right.
they thinking? It's like,
And he looks rough now still because he's probably 20 years old. But
Oh, I get
we call him Bucky because
cool,
Lucky
man.
Bucky kind of.
Yeah.
Every decoy I've ever had shot was that one. We've got a brand new one with all the electronics and its
Yeah.
ears move and eyes move and all that, or its nose. And it's never been shot. But
That-
every time we put that one out, it gets shot.
That's amazing. Well,
It's pretty
Mr.
cool.
Mr.
Yeah.
Phillips there came to the house one day, and I actually remember that photo was taken. Came to my grandpa's house and got that from him, and asked if he could use it. And I've just cherished that photo so much because I think that's so cool, man.
Oh, it is cool.
Yeah. He put reflector. I remember him telling me something about putting reflectors in the eyes
Mhm.
because he had a couple guys he couldn't catch. And but what they do is they shine a field real quick. If they seen eyes, they'd shoot the eyes and then turn the spotlight.
Mhm.
They wouldn't spotlight for 2 seconds. You know,
Yeah.
they just bam, shoot, and turn the light off.
Mhm.
And he figured out if you put that reflector in it, they'd shoot it.
Yeah.
And because at first it wasn't ever reflected, it was just they was scanning it, seen horns. And I was like, nah, I'm getting
Mhm.
out of here.
Yep.
And he caught some guys doing that. So he put those little I think it was car or trailer
Yeah.
reflectors off of a
Yep.
trailer in its eyes.
Yep.
How often using that decoy do you have people like come up and hit it with a light and shoot it versus just hitting it with a light and driving off?
That hitting it with a light and driving off happens a lot
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
it getting shot actually. But
now
with
that is an offense, isn't it? If you're spotlighting,
if they just hit it with their headlights like in a curve,
Yeah.
unless they specifically move their vehicle to manipulate their lights
Okay.
into a field. If they just hit it with their headlights, that's one thing. But if they're actually shining a light outside of the vehicle, it's if they're doing it with a gun in the truck, it's the same as shooting it.
Yeah.
It's night hunting either way. Yep.
Okay.
so man,
That's
backing up in the middle of the road and turning around where you can see with
So
your
that
headlights
so actually
is
change
against the law.
just moving your vehicle over
Yeah.
to where you manipulate
Mhm.
the lane just to see over.
Yep. And
That's actually,
illuminating wildlife with an artificial light
Yeah.
hey, that's
intentionally is
something good for the
against the law.
listeners to know.
I can tell you,
I mean, I don't know.
I've got a lot of friends.
Can you write a ticket
I've never
today?
done that. But no, I bet that's a common occurrence. I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've seen people do it out at Chaffee driving out. You'll see somebody hit the brakes and they put it in reverse and turn their lights out in the field to see a buck standing out there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, have you had anybody? This is kind of off cuff, but have you had anybody shoot a deer yet?
This year?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
I've not even got a call of it yet.
How early do you usually? About late July when that velvet starts growing?
When the velvet's about done, late July, early August is when we start getting our headless buck calls.
Yep. I wondered what the what
People
the
wanting
the
velvet,
guideline
set of
was.
velvet horns.
I was just telling him, for whatever reason, my brain, 4th of July kind of starts my thinking about deer.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy's got a bachelor group. I was talking about this on the last podcast. He's got a bachelor group of some of them are good bucks, but 5 or 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of got me a little bit of the bug, and just 2 weeks ago, me and him running around, and I'm like, I could care less about deer. I'll probably not even deer hunt this year.
We were both talking like that.
You get that feeling. You're like, I'm not even worried about deer. And then I got a little bit of the buck. Now I've been brush hogging my place.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen any good bucks, but I've got a bunch of fawns. I bet my deer did better than they've ever done this year.
I've seen a lot of
I've seen a pile
twins,
of
and I've
healthy
seen
twins and triplets.
Twins and triplets.
It's
Yep.
been crazy. So I brush hogged yesterday morning. I don't know, 6 or 7 different fawns jumped out of the.
That's great.
And so that just got me like, now I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, let's roll with it. Which now, like I was telling him, we're in that CWD area, so you can't be feeding. What's the earliest that you can put mineral out? It's 30 days before season. Is that right?
For anything for deer, September 1st.
September 1st.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
So people need to know, even though we have that early buck hunt, you can't go.
bait. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Cool.
Now
What
you
are
can
the
put
dates on that early buck hunt?
it's the last Saturday in August, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
Monday.
August
So you
29th.
can't bait then for the early buck
That's
hunt.
correct.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good information.
Now you can have your food plots and stuff.
Yeah.
but
Sure,
You can't be
sure.
putting,
Put a
hunting
corn
over
pile
corn
out.
pile. Right.
Man, I probably just wasted some seed, but we just cleared fence rows on my place. We just put a brand new fence in. I bought some cows.
Yeah, that corn you were trying to plant just didn't work out, did it?
Yeah. Dang it.
It's piled up on
No,
the
but
ground out there.
I went to co-op and they had a whole bunch of, like a pallet of winter wheat from last year that was just busted up. Rats ate
Mhm.
half of them. It was like quarter bags, half bags,
Yeah.
3/4 bags. None of them was full. And they gave me a heck of a deal on the whole pallet. I went ahead and just ran through that fence line. I bet I got wheat.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's gonna
burn up,
burn up
yeah.
and it's gonna be done. But the doves,
Mhm.
I got more doves on my place right now than I ever had because that seed's still, a lot of it's laying on top.
You hear that, right? It's a baited field.
But yeah. But there's wheat a couple inches tall.
Yeah.
And I just planted it 4 or 5 days ago. That's what I love about winter wheat. A guy that wants to get into food plots that knows absolutely nothing. Dude, you cannot go wrong planting winter wheat.
Winter wheat's
Timed
easy.
it, right?
Yep.
It's rained the last couple of days.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I told Shelby the same thing. My wife, when I say Shelby, just know I'm talking about my wife. But I told her, I was like, well, the rains we're getting in July, this thing might do good.
Yeah.
And they'll feed them through the summer and they'll be happy. But you cannot go wrong with winter wheat. Last year, we just bought our property 2 years ago. I got to hunt it for 3 years, but I didn't do anything on it. So the first year, I just hunted it.
Mhm.
Hunted over corn pile, had a few deer, nothing. Well, then when I actually bought it and had my name on the deed, the work began.
Mhm.
And I've got a 6-acre winter wheat plot right there in the middle of my property. And dude, I mean, I knew absolutely nothing about farming. Like I took a disc, hit it, and then tossed it. I walked around 6 acres with a hand seeder.
Wow.
Yeah, and that sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
And so I did that about, I don't know, 1st of September or so. I think it's about when I planted, maybe even middle of September. But hit it with that cedar, and then I took a cedar log that still had the branches on it, cut it down. It was only about 3 or 4 foot long, and tied it to the back of my 4-wheeler and used that as my drag.
Oh, nice.
And had a beautiful plot. Killed my 2 bucks. Like I said, the last 2 years have killed my 2 bucks out of there by late October, and we're that you can't get easier than that.
That's awesome.
Now I've tried to do some even better farming like brassicas and stuff, and you got to be a little bit better at farming than me to get that rolling.
Yep, it's
My
tough.
brassica's got about that big, no bulbs on it, but I'm learning,
Mhm.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Well, if 18-year-old Kurt, did you want to be a game warden?
I did. So I'm kind of a rarity with
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. I've known what I wanted to do since I was a kid. Like, as early as I can remember, I wanted to be a game warden.
That's awesome.
And I just followed through with it and went to school for it and
Living the dream.
followed my dream. Yep. And the reason for that, though, I was influenced by at a very young age by my uncle Gary.
Mhm.
He was a game warden in Missouri for 34 years. So I kind of had similar
Hey.
experiences to you did
That's
growing
amazing.
up. You know, heard stories,
Yeah.
got to see him go to
They're
work.
like the coolest
and-
guys in the world.
Yeah, I thought so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so he definitely influenced me since I was a kid. And
That's
I never changed what I wanted to do. And
That's
It
awesome,
worked
man.
out.
That is, yeah,
Like I
that
said,
is-
the Arkansas part was never in the cards for me, but
sure.
it happened.
Worked that way.
Yep. My plan was to work in Missouri. I actually interned with them in college for
Yeah.
4 years. And only reason I applied to Arkansas was they were hiring in 2018 and Missouri wasn't until 2019.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was ready to go to work. So
Yeah, and it seems like, if I may be wrong, they hiring like quite a bit of counties in 2018, wasn't there? There was several jobs open.
it's been since I got hired, really. We've had
Really?
about 30 openings a year. Yep.
Holy cow.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I've got a little stat here. It says there's approximately, of course, not all of them are game wardens in the field, but the Arkansas Game and Fish have 158 employees.
Enforcement employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot more, other divisions.
Yeah.
But as far as certified officers, I think that's about right, around
Yeah.
160. Yeah.
Golly. So, but like for you've been a lot, which there was 2 of y'all for a long time in Crawford County.
And there is
But-
now.
And
Yep.
there is now.
Mhm.
But a lot of these counties just as a one-man operation.
Well, so every county's slotted for 2.
Okay.
And some counties have 3.
Yeah.
But you're correct. There's a lot of counties that have
Just
only
roll one guy.
or none. Yeah.
Golly. How big of an area? I mean, you've got Crawford County. I wonder how many, I don't know what the acreage is on Crawford County. I'm just trying to think of how much mileage you got to cover.
I don't know the square mileage, but
that'd
it's
be
a
interesting.
lot.
Crawford's a
Yeah.
big county. I mean,
It's a
Crawford
big
is.
county.
you've
It's a
got
big county.
just public land. You've got a lot of public
And you talk
land.
a
about
lot of
you,
cover.
you talk about hunters, man. I bet 1 out of every 3 people in Crawford County hunt.
I mean, there's a lot
Of
of
some
hunters in
sort.
Crawford.
I would agree.
I would.
Yep.
It has to be. It has
Man,
to
if
be up
you're
there.
White Rock, way up there in northeast.
Listeners,
corner
don't
of
hold me to
Crawford.
that. I don't know that it's
And then you get
true
a
fact.
call at Lee Creek Wildlife Management Area.
Mhm.
That's a haul to get over there. and
That was the
the urgency to try to
analogy
get over there.
I was about to
Yeah.
give. If I'm up in Bidville, which is the far northeast county or part of Crawford County, there's a
Yeah.
small township called Bidville. I don't even know if y'all know.
Oh yeah,
it.
I
oh
know
yeah.
about
I
Bidville.
love
And I
Bidville.
get called to, like what you said,
Yeah.
natural dam. It's an hour and a half for me to get there because it's
Yeah.
all gravel roads the whole
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So
No, I remember one night, your former partner, Michael
Mhm.
Dollard, I called him. I caught a guy spotlighting a hayfield out by my grandparents going out there. And I called him and I'm like, hey man, can you get out here? He's like, I'm in Natural Dam. I'm like, you want me to follow him? He's like, well, don't follow. I'm like, I'll chase him down. You want me to arrest him? I'll just wait till you get here. He's like, no.
Citizens arrest.
Yeah. I'm like, I got him. But no, we ended up getting a license plate and all the good stuff and
Mhm.
truck description and just, figure it out later. But yeah, he was like, I'll get there as fast as I can, but I'm not saying it's going to be fast. Don't
Right.
think I'm just,
Yep.
because he lives in Elma or did live in Elma. And so I was like, he'll be right here, but he wasn't.
Yep. And that's like you said, there's 2 of us per county, and
Yeah.
it's a big county. And during hunting season, our call volume is about like a sheriff's office. Our phones are ringing.
Oh,
Back to back to back.
Oh my God. I
And
can't
so
imagine.
we
Every
had a-
time a gun goes off,
Mhm.
somebody, see, my place is just outside Mountainburg. So
Mhm.
I'm in that valley and shout out to Mountainburg, land of milk and honey. But,
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
When I shoot, the whole valley
Hmm.
shakes. And Facebook, we got I think it's What's Up Mountainburg and Mountainburg Buy, Sell, and Trade or something.
Mhm.
Both of
Somebody
them will
comment.
have what was the explosion? Was
Yeah.
that Fort Chaffee? Was that? I'm like, dude, that was 1 270 shot. Let's not be a little dramatic here. But I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know the Chaffee permit hunts. They bring in a lot of game wardens for that.
They do. Yes.
I've gone to lunch here at the little restaurant in Barling before, and like 20 of you guys come piling in. there
It
to
seems
eat
like it.
lunch.
Yeah.
It seems
yeah.
like
It's most of our district that
Yeah,
comes
you
for
guys-
that.
You guys do a good job covering that during that permit hunt.
Yeah. And it's been pretty calm the past few years, but years past it was
Yeah.
the Wild West out there.
Well, they've cut that back, to just 2 days now.
Mhm.
It used to be 4. So
right.
I remember one year out there, 7A, they killed like $150 or something
Really?
on that
Wow.
hunt. It was because we didn't have it one year. I remember game wardens were like all over the place out there during that.
Oh,
But it was like a
guarantee it.
record number of deer come out. It's just 7A.
That's awesome.
that
I've lived
weekend.
I've lived in Crawford County, Mountainburg my whole life. I've never hunted Chaffee other than my grandpa took me
Yeah.
bird hunting one time. We went quail hunting out there. And he's a big bird hunter, and we killed 2 quail, I think. But I've never even hunted it just because there's so many people out there. I'm like,
Man, it's
it-
not that bad.
it ain't worth it.
No, they've got a check-in system out there now.
Yeah.
You check in. You can see how many
I
people
think
are
it
in the
was more
zone.
like that's something that maybe we could elaborate on in another episode. But like knowing I think I was always just so scared to go out there, to be honest with you, because like you can't have shells in your truck.
Well, it's a little bit different than just going to national forest.
Yeah.
There's-
I've
there's
always
military
been like, because I'm not a rule
regulations to go
breaker,
by.
and so I've always been like, I don't want to break
Yeah.
a rule without even knowing. And of course, my grandpa being a game warden my whole life, he's like, when those military police take you, there ain't nothing I could do to help you. So I've always been like, I'm going to the
Scared to
bottom
go.
of the prison when I get in trouble. But
Yeah,
cool.
Chaffee's a different
I
animal.
mean, that just speaks on the hunting opportunities and just outdoor recreation opportunities we have in this area.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Last episode, we kind of talked about how much national forest people that
Yeah.
are moving here from a different state don't understand that up there in Bidville. My dad, I sold a cabin for him in the middle of Winfrey Valley. It's kind of on the top of the mountain there. But people from Nebraska, they're like, how much national forest is there? I think it's 190,000 acres connected to that. And
There's
I'm like,
a bunch.
I'll
Yeah.
just get on Onyx. I'm like, all of that, anything that's green, you can be on. And they're
Yep.
like, oh my God, there's nothing like this in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I hunt Nebraska
Yeah.
every year, and there ain't. I mean, we found a little public piece, unless you get into northwest Nebraska, but this we're over by kind of like Omaha. There's like 3 or 4 walk-in areas that are like 100 acres, and if you know Nebraska, you can see the whole 100
see the
acres.
100
Yeah,
acres.
yeah, I'm
Right,
like,
right.
if there's a
Yeah.
deer on this, we'll see it right here. So we ain't got to go anywhere.
That's what we're very blessed around here with our public opportunities.
Absolutely.
Growing up where I grew up in Oklahoma, I had to drive an hour to get to any public ground.
Yeah.
There's 4 WMAs just in Crawford County.
In Crawford County.
Yeah, and they're all great for their own thing. Deer, turkey, waterfowl. We've got our own waterfowl area that's good when
That's
it's good. And
Yeah.
we're very fortunate.
That's
with what we
awesome,
have, with the opportunity we
And that waterfowl, especially down in Mulberry, I mean, that's growing. That's
It's every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
What, last year or 2 years ago, they started that big project and
It's another place to deer hunt as well.
I think it's a secret hidey hole.
Yeah,
I hope not a whole lot of people
Yeah.
hear this as
I've
listeners,
hunted
but
it. and
I think there's some good deer
before.
down there.
It's archery only, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
helps.
Make sure y'all know that, but
Yeah.
it is. I've seen some good bucks come off frog.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
one thing I want to ask you is, like, do you guys monitor the buckhorn trail system? I know that's becoming really popular side by
It is.
sides, and give us an idea of like what's a common violation you see from the guys riding up there.
So in Arkansas, we don't do like ATV enforcement. Like
Yeah.
you'll see on the New England game warden shows, a lot of
Yeah.
those guys do a lot of ATV enforcement. That's not us here. That's the Forest Service law
Okay.
enforcement. We do work the trails sometimes just when we happen to be there. The
So
number
you're-
one violation we would see coming off of side by sides in the rec areas is alcohol. On the
Yep.
national forest, you can't have alcohol at all,
Yep.
and let alone when you're driving a motor vehicle.
Yep.
That's
And-
interesting.
Yep.
So even if you're camping, you set up old deer camp out in the middle of the national forest, you cannot have alcohol.
Anywhere on the national forest, you can't
That's
possess
interesting.
alcohol. Yep.
Listeners, I hope you heard that because
Well,
I bet there's a lot of beer drank at a.
There is.
Yeah, there's a
National
lot of beer. They call it beer camp, not deer camp.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
One thing I feel like a lot of people may not know is you need that little yellow sticker on your side by side or 4-wheeler riding on the
Yep. If
trails.
If you're riding on public, you do. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I think that overlook that.
Yep.
Yeah, and as game wardens, that's not something we're out looking for every time. We'll check it when we need to. But
Sure.
the Forest Service law enforcement, they check that every time they make a ATV stop.
That's
Yep.
interesting. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, roughly how many hunters do you think you check a year?
Oh, man,
Thousands?
I would say, maybe not thousands, hundreds for sure.
Hundreds.
Yep. We and in Arkansas we're tasked with the boating law enforcement too. So in the summertime
Yeah.
we're on a boat making boating stops, and I don't know, I couldn't even give you a guess, but
Yes.
like end of 4th of July weekend I had 56 body camera videos. So
Wow.
that was 50 in 3 days. So
I've seen you guys on the Arkansas
Hey,
River quite a bit.
Yep.
Out
Hey, some of these ticket books, you can tell my grandpa had a good day, and I kind of just look back. There'll be some of these that are, like maybe that one. It's that thick. Those are all one day. Maybe not this one, but some of these. It's one day of fishing tickets, like no license, no license.
Yeah.
no
yep, it happens.
And then, do you know what a fishing no license fishing? What does that cost you?
In Crawford County, every county's different because
Okay.
each one has its own court costs. And even if you don't go to court, it's the filing fees and all that. So they're still associated with the fine.
Yeah.
In Crawford County, the fine for fishing without a license is $100. The court cost is $135.
Yeah.
So it's $235.
I think I have one in here from 79. It cost you $9 if you didn't fish without a license.
Really?
And then in 88, it was $44. So we
Oh,
made
wow.
a huge
Yeah.
jump from
Yeah.
like 79 to 88.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where do those fines go?
So the fine money in Arkansas goes to the county school systems. So it goes into a big pool. Game and Fish doesn't see any of the fine money. Now that's that $100. The court system sees the court fees. That
Yeah.
I don't know what that goes to.
Sure.
But the $100 for a fishing license ticket goes into a pool that the county school systems can then request grants for, like archery in the schools and outdoor
Nice.
related programs. Yep.
Hunters education courses.
Yeah, stuff like that. Absolutely.
That's
So that's
awesome.
that's a big misconception that you know we run
Y'all are making
tickets.
rich.
Yeah, no.
Kurt
We don't-
got him a raise because he got so
He
we
gets
take
commission off that.
Yeah,
too,
Yeah.
you
we
know.
don't. Game and Fish in its entirety doesn't see a dime from any of the fine money.
That's it. That's awesome.
That's good information.
that's
I'm not sure
huge
that the
to know.
public knows.
No,
that,
a lot of
you
people
know.
No, a
don't
lot
know
of
that.
people don't. Yeah.
No, yeah, they just assume, well, that's how they pay for Kurt's salary
Yeah,
this
No,
year.
no,
He got a
not that.
bonus. He wrote 150 tickets.
Well, I looked it up, and whether my stats are correct, last year officers in Arkansas issued 3,221 citations and 4,568 warnings.
That sounds
Across the state.
Yeah, that's probably about
That's
right.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
And you said about half of them are from Crawford County. No,
No, Crawford County is a busy county.
I guarantee it.
Each year is different, though. I mean, I'll look at my stats from year to year, and one year will be really slow, and then it's just spikes and dips.
You know, as a duck hunter, I have seen, especially because of those WMAs and stuff that the Ducks Unlimited is doing, just a bunch of people are doing around mulberries. Well, it seems like duck hunting's became way more popular in the last
has.
like 5 years
Mhm.
around here. Like
Yeah.
used to places that I never. Heck, I don't think I lost it, but I haven't asked yet. But another kid. Or guy, I shouldn't call him a kid. We're almost 30 now, so we should. But another guy got potentially one of my early goose spots. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, bums me out. He's some guide, and he moved in this area, I guess, and
Mhm.
he's going to run a little bit of a guiding service through here. I
Oh,
guess.
really?
Yeah, but anyway.
So, what do you mean by he got one of your early goose spots? Elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I've got I don't know, I've probably got 10 or 12 permissions to waterfowl hunt, and when the waterfowl get good, I just check each one of those spots throughout the season, and any of them get good, I'll go hunt them. But I have one that has a bunch of properties, and Kurt probably knows he's
River Road.
Yeah. He's checked me on a few of them.
Yeah.
One time, hey, I got a funny story for us. One time it's snowing and we're goose hunting, and y'all pulled up. And at one time, you probably don't even know this. I had a bounce house business, so I had like 10
I didn't
bounce.
know that about
I had like
you.
10 bounce houses, and I rented them out. Right, I've always been an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah.
But I had these bounce houses, and I had one of these rolled up from the party before a church had it, and I put them in the back of my truck before we went goose hunting. I'm like, hey, y'all carry all the stuff. I'll just meet y'all out there.
Yeah.
And so I show up, and I think Michael called me, or you called. One of y'all called me.
I can't remember who I
and
was
you're
with,
like,
but-
you're like, hey, we ran your tag. Is this your truck sitting over here with a bounce house in the back? And I'm like, yeah, we're actually over at this pond hunting. And they're like, all right.
Yeah, it was
well,
strange.
Yeah. You're like, what's it? Well, you'll never know what you're going to see.
Nope.
But,
nope, never.
Yeah.
Touching
But
on
yeah.
that, tell us a crazy story, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's something wild you've seen that you can talk about?
I don't know. See, a lot of people ask this question. This is hard for me to answer
Yeah.
because every day is different for me. The hardest decision I make when I leave the house is turning left or right. I don't know where I'm going to go every day
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
I'm doing something specific, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of cool cases. One that would come to mind is, I don't know if you guys heard about it. In 2019, me and some other game wardens made a big case of a guy trapping bears and killing them out of traps.
Wow.
Have y'all heard about
Wow.
that?
I
No.
heard about that.
So this was up in Chester. I got a call on it in 2018.
Chester's not Mountain Bird, by the way. That's just
It's
above. Yeah.
patrolled by the same police department, so it's the same.
Mountain Bird's Land of Milk and Honey, Chester's Outlaws. No.
I got a call in 2018 about some guys had these big, you know what a raccoon trap looks like, a
Yeah.
live
Oh, yeah,
trap,
yeah.
just a big version of that made out of pallets and cattle panels. And it was pretty good information. So I went and walked the property, found all these traps, and it was late in the winter. So the bears were already denned up. So I just sat on it for a year. Early that next fall, like August, I started walking in there. They were already baiting the traps. And so I knew they weren't set to trigger yet, though. They had a big cable that would drop the door when the bear got his donut off the plate.
Jeez.
And so I knew that they were going to be probably setting them to trigger closer to season. So I went in there every few days and documented the bait because they were baiting early. They couldn't have been. You can only bait bears 30 days before season
Yeah.
opens. And this was back when it opened on opening day of deer season still. So they were baiting early. So I set up cameras looking at the traps and on the driveway going in so I could see when the landowner was going in.
Yeah.
And come opening day, the mast had fallen. The acorns are already fallen, so he didn't trap a bear opening day. But they were set to trigger the night before. And so I went in there, kept checking it, and finally he posted on Facebook that he had killed a bear, and a big picture of it. It was like a 300-pound bear. It was a good one. And
Jeez.
so I walked in there with another game warden, and it was actually a Forest Service officer. He helped me a lot with this case, and found the trap that he'd killed the bear in. It was destroyed, blood everywhere.
yeah.
Yep, the door was still down. And so we pulled our cameras. We actually got a video of him shooting it out of the trap with a crossbow. And then he drives his tractor up to the trap and drags it out.
Oh, my
And,
gosh.
So that was pretty cool. Ended up, we got 2 guys out of that. They'd killed like 7 bears out of these traps in the last 3 years. And
pretty crazy
Jeez,
story.
that is insane.
that was pretty wild.
What's
yeah.
the thought?
I never even
process
thought of
behind
that.
doing
You're
it?
like,
I
hey,
never- yeah.
instead of hunting these things, we could
Let's
just trap them.
Let's trap a 300-pound bear.
Yeah,
like
with
a
our
raccoon.
homemade trap that
Which-
probably was, if this
Which
bear's
is
too-
not legal. You
Yeah,
can't hunt them with a trap at
Yeah.
bears in Arkansas. But
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That
It
is-
just it's a different dynamic. It's something we won't see.
Yeah.
I'll probably never see that again.
Never see
you know?
again. No one's crazy enough to do that twice. And then too, just to be like a whole year of just staying on that.
Mhm.
That's
Which I didn't work it from like
Sure,
January to
yeah,
August,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was in the
Like,
back of my
hey,
mind. I was
let's
excited.
go
for
up
it.
there. Yeah, let's
You knew to get
Yeah.
back on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then when you got there in August and you seen it just like being used or
Mhm.
you're like, oh man, I'm actually onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's been a
Yep.
while. I don't know if you were a game warden back when this happened. But there was a situation that Chaffee. There was a guy setting like booby traps. It was set up. If I remember right, he had a crossbow or something.
Really?
With a tripwire.
I never
out
heard of
there.
that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was before your time. This
Yeah.
was back, I think, when Mike Thomas, and your dad were working.
Yeah.
Back then. And
Yeah.
it was a really wild story.
Hmm.
Yeah, they wound up catching him on those traps.
Wow.
Well, Kurt, is there any seasons coming up? I know that early buck season. Any seasons we need to know about?
So early buck season changed this year. It's the last Saturday in August.
Yep.
Or on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I don't have the dates off the top
I think
of
it's
my
the
head.
29th, 30th, and maybe
Yeah, there's some conflicting information out there. Because I looked the other day, I pulled it up and it showed it was in September, like the 5th, 6th, and 7th, something like that.
yeah, it might have been
So,
last year's
That
dates.
was last year's
Yeah,
dates. It
last
used to be the first weekend in September. Now
Yeah.
it's the last weekend in August.
Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of people are excited for that. One thing I'll note, in a chronic wasting disease management zone, which Crawford County is, you still cannot bait until September 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can have hunting your food plots. I think we said that earlier.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff, but you
But you
cannot put
cannot
bait
bait.
out. Can't hunt it over a corn pile
And,
until
and minerals
September 1st.
bait.
That's
Your
right.
trophy rock
And
is
it's
bait.
archery only.
all-
Archery only. Can't
Yeah.
kill a doe. It's $1
One
limit
buck.
for that 3 days. Yep.
Man, we're gonna go get Kurt's canine dog. He's got Ruby, his partner, and she's been in the truck, so we're gonna bring her in. And everybody, the truck's running. She's in AC.
It is.
She's
Yep. It's got a heat alarm set up.
She lives like a queen. She's not hurt.
I do have a question. What's your thoughts on cell cams and technology and what's that doing, for the wildlife, for the hunters, for you guys as a resource to catch people? I mean,
For the
Yeah.
resource to catch people,
Yeah,
it's
it's
changed a lot because we've used cameras since I started, but cell cameras are newer for us even in the last
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
Used to, if we had a bait site on National Forest, for example, we'd have to go check it every morning.
Uh,
Now, if we know where that guy's going in, we
Yeah,
put a camera
just
on
set
his
it right
trail.
there.
Yeah, and
that's
now
fine.
we don't do that every time, but
Yeah,
honestly, I'm a fan of cell cameras. I use them on my place. I think it's a
I
great
love 'em.
tool.
my wife hates them. $14.99 a month.
Yeah,
and I
no
got
kidding.
6 of them on
Yeah,
on 40
exactly.
acres. She's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, why do we have an extra $100 come out
Mhm.
every month in
Yeah.
deer season?" But,
But I do see the side of it that some of the states
Yeah.
are.
what do you think about drones? That's kind of becoming a popular thing.
Yeah, man.
Drones is
And
kind
everybody,
of a touchy
a lot of
subject.
people
Yeah.
have them. I've got one.
yeah, we use them for real estate every day.
Absolutely, they're a great tool.
Now you cannot use them to bother wildlife.
Right, you can't use them to pursue. So, like, my understanding of this, because it's kind of
conflicting.
it's a new thing. So
Yeah.
not everything's been written specifically for drones. A lot of
Yeah.
our laws that are pertaining to drones are the same laws we have for aircraft. Because
Yeah.
it's an aircraft.
Yeah.
But you can use them to scout, but you can't use them to pursue wildlife. So
Yeah.
you can't use them to go find a turkey in a field and then go immediately hunt
Go
that turkey.
kill it. Yeah.
Can
Right.
you use them for tracking after a wounded animal?
So yes, you
Okay.
can. That we have clarified that you can now use
Okay.
a drone to.
Yeah, I saw a business card, one of the sporting goods
I-
stores the other day.
there's
They
one
had-
up
they
at
had a drone
Simmons.
service.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought, well, I didn't know that was legal here in Arkansas.
And this is 100% a personal opinion. I think it's really good to recover a deer no matter what. Take whatever it
Absolutely.
takes.
I agree.
What I don't like about that is where I kind of cross my line in my head is if you killed a buck or you shot a buck and you shoot it in the butt because you know that you can get a drone and you can go find this thing. But here's Miss Ruby here. But you know that you can get this drone, and then you just go wound it just so that you can go track it and shoot it whenever you. I hate that.
There's a lot of scenarios that could play out.
Yes,
with
I don't like
technology.
that. Like now, I can take an unethical shot because I know that I can get my drone up and we can go chase this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that,
Well, and it's the
yeah.
same with deer tracking dogs that bay the deer. You know,
Yeah.
if a deer's got a hurt hoof, that dog's probably going to bay it up, and
Yeah, you're spot on.
not necessarily probably wouldn't have died.
it wouldn't have died.
know,
It'd have
and
made it.
It
Yeah.
is very conflicting there.
I'm
And,
kind of.
I agree with you. I think recovering an animal that's going to die is great. But,
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people feel the same as you as far as conflicted of a
Can you,
non-lethal hit. But, yeah.
can you use a drone to scout?
So you can use a drone to scout, but you can't use it to harass the wildlife
Okay.
or to use in the aid of pursuing that wildlife.
Yeah.
So if you want to
Well, that's
scout an
a
area,
Gray area, because you
Yes.
fly over and you happen to see where a buck's bedding.
I noticed
technically
I noticed a lot in duck season. I do like this. Go check a pond that's out in the middle of nowhere. Go pick up, see if there's a bunch of greenheads on it. Pick back down. Go hunt them the next morning. Type deal.
and that's
That's fine.
That's how we've been.
But what he's saying is you can't say, let's go check the hayfield for that big old buck in the middle of November. And then you see him, and then your buddy, you're on a walkie-talkie saying,
Hey,
keep walking
Yeah,
right, keep walking
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
he's
he's
to the
down there
left.
killing.
Yeah.
He's
That's-
bedded down right here,
and that's
slip
just-
in there
man,
and kill him.
You personally, and I mean, I guess if you poach, you just poach. But
Yeah.
you personally need to take it. Am I hunting? At what
Right.
point am I actually hunting? Like the whole
Exactly.
point you do this
Yeah.
is to have fun and get that adrenaline hunting. Is sitting there on a walkie-talkie and make it almost video game like is not hunting.
Well, yeah, and then same thing can be said for cell cameras now. You know,
Yeah.
if you live on the property you hunt, and that
Hey,
camera
yeah.
goes off and he's
I-
eating at your feeder, and you sneak
Slip
up and
down there
shoot him.
with the rifle.
I love my neighbor, and if Kibby's watching this, he knows that I love him. But I had a buck, a hitless buck, 4 years ago, on the property across from me, and he had a cell camera on his hayfield, and I chased that buck day after day, and I was just a poor kid that couldn't afford a cell camera when it first came out, and he puts his cell camera up, gets this thing at his feed. 5 minutes later, throws on his camouflage, goes grabs his rifle, knows about what funnel it's
Yep.
going to, cuts it off, and kills this thing. He hunted about 15 minutes,
Yep.
and I hunted, 30 days in a row.
Right.
And I was like, Kibby, and he's like,
Yeah.
I went and took pictures of him and everything. I mean, I love him, but I was like, Kibby,
Something I'm thinking.
you could have saved that for me, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, something I'm thinking about doing this year is no cameras. Like just go back to old school.
Hey,
scout
I've kind of had that
and
thought.
do that. I feel like I was more excited as a hunter, just seeing
Just
deer
what
in
would come
general,
out?
just what would come out. I feel like cell cams and just cameras in general kind of take that away.
The
Especially when you're getting
yeah.
instant information about these deer. And I've actually had it affect my hunting, and I'm sure it has a lot of people.
Oh, buddy.
Man, you're not getting any pictures on this spot. You're like, oh, I'm
not
not
gonna
going to go
hunt
in there. I'm
tomorrow.
going to go in there and hunt it, and I'm going to go hunt it.
Well, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, what's my opinion on cell cameras? I hunt a lot less now. And
Yep.
that's kind of a bummer.
I haven't had anything on camera
But-
3 days in a row, so I'm
Exactly.
not going to go.
But I've
And-
sat in the woods and watched deer walk, like see the camera and go around it.
Fun
Not get
fact,
in
both
front of
bucks
it.
I killed,
Yeah.
I killed within 20 yards of my camera. The day I killed them, had 0 pictures of them. I have six cell cameras on 40 acres. I should have a picture of that buck, knowing that he's
Yeah.
daylighting.
Yep.
And I shot him at like 9:30 in the morning, and the other one was kind of earlier. It was like 7:30, 7:45.
Yeah.
But it was that plenty of daylight, should have got caught. And one of them I know had to have, where he came down the lane from the creek, I know he had to have passed a camera because he was but he
Yeah.
was jogging, chasing a doe. And it's probably one of those pictures when you just get a blank picture. And
You
you're
think
like,
the
"This
wind did
stupid."
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, this
right.
stupid blank picture. And then actually it's that big old buck that you
Yep.
wouldn't have hunted because you only watch your cell camera.
There's a game warden friend of mine in Oklahoma that did exactly what you're saying. He got rid of all his cameras for a year. He actually went back to a longbow instead of his
That's
compound,
sick.
which
I don't
is
know.
very
That's
extreme.
even
I don't
more
think I'll
extreme.
do that.
I tried to kill one with a
But-
recurve, but I can't do it.
Yeah, he said it was the best season of his life. He had a lot more fun.
Yeah.
than-
Well,
than-
the reason I've even had that thought is me and Tucker go up to Nebraska every year. My buddy Tucker Backus. We go up to Nebraska for the last 3 years, and we don't run cameras up there. And I just catch myself, which I told on the last podcast, my mistake of shooting a buck that was about 105, 110 inches that I thought was about 150 inches.
Yep.
You
But
got excited.
every single deer that came through, I was pumped about. We
Mhm,
was
yeah.
rifle hunting, and it's a bunch of willows, thick stuff, and then it'll just open up for like 10, 15 yards.
Yep.
And I would be just every deer that came through, and when you're used to looking at Arkansas deer, every Nebraska doe that ran through there, I'm like, that's a giant. That's a
Yep.
big buck. And it's like
Yep.
a 2-year-old
Look
doe
like
that's
cows
just
walking
200
through.
pounds.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's a giant. And then I'm like, oh, never mind. That's not a, that's
Mhm.
no.
You want to introduce us to your
Yeah.
partner? Your
Yeah,
dog?
yeah. So this is Ruby. Ruby is a chocolate lab. She just turned 5 last
You see
week.
her?
She's under the table.
Oh, come here. She likes.
Ruby is trained to track people. Is 95% of what we do,
Yeah.
on lead and off lead tracking. She's also trained to alert to articles like a drug dog will.
Yeah.
She doesn't alert to any narcotics though. She'll alert to gunpowder and human odor, and deer meat, duck meat, and turkey meat.
That's
So,
crazy.
Yep. It's pretty cool. She's made my job a lot more interesting. I
Yeah.
enjoy it a lot more.
I guarantee
I
it.
loved it before, but it's made it 10 times better.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. You got a buddy that you can run around with.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, if I'm having a bad day, I can play with a dog.
Yeah.
So,
And dogs
yeah.
are never in a bad mood.
That's
so
right.
you're like, had the worst day ever, and she just comes up and licks you in the face,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you smile a little bit.
But it's great if I check someone on National Forest that isn't quite acting right, is nervous to
Sure.
see me, something like that, and I kind of get suspicious. Usually they're nervous because they probably have something out they shouldn't
Oh,
at their
absolutely.
stand. I'll just put her GPS collar on her and kick her out by where their truck was, and she'll take me right to their stand.
That's
Right
crazy.
to where everywhere they went, she's going to go to.
So when you're a mile back in the middle of National Forest and you think you're dumping this corn out, nobody gonna find it. Miss Ruby's gonna run out there and
Yeah.
go sit on it, and then you're done.
She'll eat as much of it as she can
She
before I
eats
get
it,
there.
yeah.
Yep. I can actually tell if there's bait at the end because I'm watching her on
She's
a
licking her lips.
GPS monitor. And when she hits the end, if there's no bait, she'll start making circles looking for the track.
Oh yeah,
If she just stays there at the
She's
end of the
it.
track, she's eating bait.
She's eating
Yep.
it.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yep. That is awesome. So don't put any dog food in your hunting bag either,
Yeah, no,
because
don't
she
do
will
that.
also be tracking you all the way. Well, cool, man. Well, I just got a few more questions before we get into just rapid fire questions. What's the easiest way? And I went last night, so I kind of know the answer, but I'm gonna let you. What's the easiest way for someone to stay up to date on regulations?
So all of our regulations are available on our website. There's a big section called regulations at the top of agfc.com.
Mhm.
You can look at our entire code of regulations that has every law for
Yep.
the game and fish, every code that we have. You can read it. It's listed by section. I think there's 36 chapters, 34 chapters,
Yeah.
something like that. And you can click on each one individually and sift through it for whatever you're wanting. Also, though, we have a waterfowl guidebook, a hunting and fishing guidebook, trout guidebook,
Yeah.
whatever activity you're doing. We update those annually, and they're publicly available online or at Walmart or any licensed vendor.
Cool.
And you can look through, and each year what we do, historically what they do, I don't know that they'll do it this year. I think they will. But at the beginning of that guidebook, it says what's new in it.
Yeah.
Any regulations that have changed, any new laws that are in effect, it lists them right there at the front. And so if you know what it was last year, then
Yeah.
you just read the what's new, you should be covered. But it's always a good idea to check the WMA regulations
Sure.
for where you're going too. But
And guys, you can go on the app too. I mean, I know everybody that's under, I don't know, 50 prefer to use an app. And
Probably, yeah.
you can jump on the app, and I mean, it's got everything you'd ever need. You can check your game, shows you what tags you've got. I mean, it's about as easy as it gets, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Mine still shows all my stuff that I checked in last year, and then my history of checking in all my deer and turkey throughout the.
That's only about half of
Dude.
what you told me about. Though.
Yeah, no. But it shows everything he had. And then last night, because I knew he was having this podcast, I just ran to Walmart there in Alma, and you can run to any Walmart. Where else are they? Do you know?
Any licensed vendor, really.
Okay. So even
sporting
any
goods
gas
stores,
station
yeah,
or anything.
so-
And of course, they don't have the hunting book for right now for
right,
this
it's not
year.
out yet. Yeah.
And I asked them if they had last year's because I couldn't find mine. But I'm kind of old school for being young,
Mhm.
and I just prefer to have this deer and duck season and deer season. I just keep it with
absolutely.
me. And I used to write my tags out of my deer book, but I don't do that anymore. But guys, you can go Walmart and grab you a book, and you're going to know everything you could possibly ever know.
Absolutely.
If you like reading, if you hate reading, well, you're going to learn the hard way.
If you hate reading, do it online, and you can search for the word
Just
you're
certain
looking for. Yeah.
Let's see. I got some rapid fire questions for you. If you could only hunt one animal for the rest of your life, deer or turkey, what would it be?
Turkey, hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
did that on
Me-
our last podcast, and we were all
deer.
Yeah,
We're all
Really?
deer. Yep.
The deer doesn't gobble or
he
so.
he called you a turkey weirdo.
Yeah.
That's what he called
Man,
you.
there's this group of turkey weirdos, and my buddy Tucker's one of them. And they just obsess over these turkeys.
I love it.
They love them so much. And I've killed a few, and I've killed a Missouri bird. I've killed a Nebraska bird. I will go hunt them. I enjoy it.
Have you had good turkey hunts? Gobbling and strutting in your
Yeah,
face?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And I had my Nebraska bird, and I will say this is probably the closest I've gotten to the edge. We had and it's way different than around here. And growing up around here, it's been hard because there ain't a whole lot of turkeys to make it fun. I know that glorified hiking's what it is for us.
I grew up
In
when
the
the
heyday,
turkey hunting,
probably.
with the heyday of turkey
Yeah.
hunting around here, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And you got to experience what he's talking about, the best of the best.
Well,
turkey
so when
hunting
we go
ever.
to Nebraska, the reason we even hunt this place because we deer hunt it, and the owner told us, I hate turkeys. You'll see like 50 or 60 every time you're deer hunting. They're annoying. They just make a lot of noise. And very first morning up there, I bet we heard 10, 15 different gobblers gobbling on the roost.
Yeah.
And then they pitch down. They all go separate ways. We're sitting there, and turkey comes in right behind us, and we can hear steps, and Tucker's like, hey, that's a bird for sure. And this joker comes right to our right and then just gobbles in my ear, and I the scared excited I was ridiculous because I was like, oh my God, but also I really want to shoot this thing. And then it started, it got a little bit worried, and I got to watch his head change colors and the whole 9 yards, and I will say that was cool.
It is cool.
That's
But
how
I
it
will
was.
shoot a 130-inch deer before I shoot a turkey any day of the week.
Imagine that though in the Ozark Mountains. In early April.
Hey, my
Like,
goal
it's awesome.
goal is to kill one on my property there in Mountainburg.
Have you seen them?
Nope.
No?
I haven't had a single turkey.
Yeah.
And you would think I have that big 6 acre. I've got a 1 acre in the back. I probably got 7 to 8 acres of food plots on my place. And I would think if there's going to be one, they're going to find me at some point. But my absolute goal is 100% have a strut, because I can kill a deer every day of the week in that place. But if I had a strutting turkey out in the middle of that wheat field, I'd be stoked.
It'd be pretty
but
cool.
I'm shooting a deer every day of the week. Your bow or a rifle?
Bow.
Really?
Absolutely. Yep.
Man, I was just talking about, I'm a rifle guy. I'll shoot. I worked at Morel Targets. I love shooting bows with the rest of them.
I was making fun of you the other day. You were talking about you're going to bow hunt this year. I said, no, you're going to wait till
I'm
alternative
going to wait
season.
until
You're gonna-
alternative season.
You're going to shoot a couple of little old basket racks and be done.
Oh, please. Please. Hey, I kill 200 inch every year. It just takes $2.
That's right. Absolutely. No, I'm not to the point where I'll put the rifle down during rifle season.
I promise you.
But
These guys, my stepdad's one of them. It'll be November 14th, and he's out there with his bow in hand. He's like,
Sitting in Blaze
I
Orange,
had a good buck at 42 yards. I'm like, you know what my 270 done at 42 yards? It would have blew through that thing.
I've always been one of those guys that, bow hunt, during rifle season. But I don't know, most years I filled my tags by the time we get to rifle season.
Yeah.
But I've started to pick up a rifle a little bit more here the last couple of years. And
And you touched on this just a second ago. That alternate gun. That's
Yeah.
a miscommunication. I've had to explain to some buddies, and I was gonna bring a cartridge with me, and I didn't do it. But straight wall cartridge is not your 270.
that's correct.
It's not a 30-30. even.
Nothing with a
You
bottleneck.
cannot take your 30-30 during the straight wall cartridge
That's
season.
correct. Or a shotgun with a slug. It's got to be a metal cartridge.
It's got to be a metal
yeah, we
cartridge.
were talking about that the other day. People thinking a shotgun straight walled.
Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. I've had that conversation. No, 30-30. I mean, it goes all the way to the top, and then it bottlenecks. I'm like, but it bottlenecks.
bottlenecks.
Yeah. Good theory, but no, that's not right. I went ahead and bought myself a single shot. I'm kind of a cheapo, so it was the cheapest 350 Legend that you could buy is a single shot.
CVA Scout?
Yep.
Yep. I
Yep.
love that
That's a
gun.
good
gun.
Yep.
Yep.
It's cheap, but it does the job.
Dude.
I've got one myself.
And,
I love
those
it.
$2, that one, I didn't actually range them. I bet that one was at 100, 110 yards, 100 and so.
Yep.
I had my feed at about, 75 yards or so, and I killed one right at the feed, but one was he was chasing a doe behind it late October, and both of them, one was a frontal shot actually, and I dropped him right in his tracks. And the other one, he probably ran 5-10 yards. And I'm like, well, you made a believer out of me,
Yep.
350 Legend. I'm going to start using you. Because my muzzleloader, on the other hand, if they didn't fall right then, you was going to track them, and you was going to get pin drop blood everywhere. And I've lost some deer. Duck hunting or fishing?
I used to do both a lot. I don't really do either anymore. I still like to go on a good duck hunt though.
Yeah, for sure. Only weirdos fish.
Fishing's where it's at.
Chris, if you call him and he ain't answering a real estate call, it's because he's on his boat fishing.
And what do you fish for? Crappie or
I'm a bass.
Bass.
Bass. He
bass and catfish.
spends thousands and thousands of dollars to throw the fish back after he catches it. Doesn't that make sense?
Hey,
I'm $100,000 deep and tossing him into the back. And Chris, you said you could probably answer this a little better. What's the best fishing lake around here?
where I see people have the most success is anywhere along the Arkansas River, specifically the Ozark Pool. The crappie fishermen do pretty good. Cat fishermen, they catch a lot of bass. They do a lot of bass tournaments there. So out of Clear Creek.
Man, it's not necessarily Crawford County, but my grandpa used to a bunch of game wardens used to go together for a week, and they'd go up to Blue Mountain.
That's what the best
Blue Mountain's a great
crappie lake in the area is Blue Mountain. It's great bass fishing.
And I ain't gonna tell no lies on here, but they used to say like the numbers that they would tell you was unreal. Like it'd be like a week long and be like, Paul, how many did y'all catch? And he kept up by pounds, not like how many fish they actually caught. But he'd be like, oh, we caught 900 pounds of crawfish.
Wow.
So you're like, what in the world? You're like,
Blue Mountain's crazy.
There'd be like 5 or 6 of them, and they'd camp for 7 days straight and catch just a ridiculous amount of crawfish. In like slabs, not just some old little dink pond.
That's awesome.
Bass Lake, so Lake Hinkle, Sugarloaf, those are probably 2 of the best bass lakes around.
Really?
Yeah.
Big bass
Big
or numbers?
Lake Hinkle, you can catch a lot of big bass.
And
There's been 10-pounders caught out of Sugarloaf.
Now, what about Ozark City Lake?
Ozark City Lake's kind of a sleeper. Not a lot of people know about that.
They used to have a Beckert tournament there every year.
It's got a lot of big bass. And it's
right.
really clear, too.
I hear people do pretty good there with big fish.
And the Arkansas River.
Speaking of Lake Hinkle,
kind of everything.
We don't have a listing agreement on it, so I'm not going to tell you where it's at. But we might have 40 acres just right
Possible listing.
Lake Hinkle. So if you're interested, we've got a guy. It's going to be a jam-up place. You're like half a mile from the boat ramp. It's going to have deer on it. It's going to be sweet. But he's from Texas. He's supposed to let us know. He said if we had a buyer right off the bat, he would sell it. But hopefully, I think next week we're supposed to meet up. So if you're looking for 40 acres by Hank, you heard it first right here. He is the best fishing lake around here. Especially now that we got a listener around it, it's the best fishing lake around here. Okay, I've got a few more. Your favorite wild game to eat?
Turkey.
Yep. I will say, as much as I could care less about shooting turkeys, a little bit of turkey nuggets, them little chopped up nuggets that are deep fried.
Beer battered turkey nuggets.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. And backstrap. I'm a backstrap guy.
Fried backstrap?
Yep.
Really? See, I don't like fried backstrap.
Really?
I grill it.
Grilled backstrap. That's where it's at.
It's like a filet mignon, man. Yeah. It's delicious.
Deep fry that thing. And then, my dad we called them duck nuggets, but we'd take like teal and even take mallards, cut them in half. Well, waterfowl gets a bad rap about tasting good.
I don't mind.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, them Canadian geese, I've killed a lot of them. I can't find a way to make them taste good other than the fajitas. So we cut them up, and we make a lot of fajita meat out of them. But cool. The biggest buck you've ever seen while working?
I've seen a lot of really good bucks on Chaffee. They go to the impact area when season starts, obviously. And so when we're patrolling
over there, you can't hunt there.
When we patrol the Chaffee permit hunts, go by the impact area, make sure no one's crossing the line. And I've seen some, what I would say were definite 180s in there.
Really?
The former Sebastian County game warden told me one year he saw 200, but I couldn't verify that.
Yeah.
But I also, we were just talking about frog being a little known secret. I saw a 160-inch buck on frog one year, no doubt 160. And
I don't doubt it.
It was a good one. Yep.
Yeah, I know a guy that killed a buck pretty close to frog. It was in the 160s.
Yeah. I'd love to get one, but
you can shoot them 80s.
Hey,
if you let them grow 2 more years, they'd get there.
I still got that. Hey, I still got that buck fever. I
won't pass a 120-inch deer. Dude, there's no way.
They break there for me. It seems like 98's really where an 80-incher don't look as big as a 98-incher, but a 100-incher with his ears pinned back chasing a doe is 150-inch in my brain until I shoot him. And I'm like, that's a big one.
Yep.
And I don't think a lot of people, and some people listening to this would agree with me because you're serious hunters, but the non-serious hunters, a lot of times when they tell you they seen a 150 50-inch deer. Oh, that was as big as I've seen on TV.
It's 100.
It was a 100-inch deer.
Yeah.
The deer weighed 92 pounds.
2.5-year-old 8-point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was,
it was going away from them.
yep. Yeah, and it's running away.
That's
Yeah,
when
because
they
those
look the
deer get
biggest.
20 inches bigger when they're running away.
Absolutely.
All right. What? Here's one more question: coffee before daylight or energy drink midday?
Coffee before daylight.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep.
And then an energy drink.
Yeah,
midday.
something.
Yeah.
So thinking about to get through the day. Something thinking about this. What are a game warden's hours?
So that's the best part of the job for me, besides being outside every day. We make our own hours.
Yeah.
So during hunting season, I'll work 4 to noon some days, or 5 to 8 or 9, and then go home, take a nap, come back out that evening for a few hours.
Because there's not a good time to be off. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm taking Saturday off."
Exactly.
That's the prime. Everybody's hunting.
Mhm. So they tell us what days we're going to be off, and all the game wardens' traditional days off are during the week sometime. And other than that, I got to get 80 hours in 2 weeks, and they don't care how I do it. Now,
That's interesting.
I can't, stay home and work a short day on opening day of gun season, obviously.
Yeah.
But as long as I get my time in
That's
our
cool.
pay period is what we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll work 12 hours one day for the next, and we do that quite a bit, actually.
That's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, because you have to. I mean, you can't, like you said, you can't take opening day of rifle
Right.
off because you're like, well, I plan on having Saturday off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just
Yeah.
do that.
But
And then
one thing
I
with
think you
that-
find yourself working Saturday, Sundays a lot.
A lot,
Take a
yeah.
midday, midweek off, kind of. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what people ask me all the time. Well, you're a game warden. You must not get to hunt anymore. I hunt way more now than before I was a game warden, but it is during the week. It's not on
You
a
missed the
weekend.
opening days.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And also, though, with that being said, it's the best job in the world, in my opinion, but we are on call 24 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yep.
My 2 days off, I don't have to answer my phone, but if it rings at 1 a.m, I got to answer it on my days on.
Yep. Yeah, I'm glad we're buddies because a lot of times I text you and I think, I wonder if this is his day off. And he's like, I wish this guy would leave me alone.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, my last question, the finale question here, my closing question. When people hear the word game warden, a lot of people immediately think tickets.
hmm
But at the end of the day, what really do you hope people remember about Kurt and the Arkansas Game and Fish?
So I'm glad you asked that. I think that, like we talked about earlier, when people see us, they get scared immediately.
Yep.
I think that's a stigma and kind of an old school mentality a lot of people have. My goal when I go out each day is not to write tickets.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a ticket. I know other people don't either. It's never a fun part of the day. If that's something that has to be done in my job, then we got to do it. But we're looking for major violations, resource impacting violations, your spotlighting, night hunting, hunting over bait, and that kind of stuff. We get that small mistakes happen.
Mhm.
If you let your license expire a couple days, I'm not saying you won't get a ticket, but a lot of us try to
We're gonna talk
educate
through that.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. I know me and my partner and every other game warden in this district, we're out there to look for your significant violations that impact the resource. I care about, making sure that my kids will have deer and turkeys to hunt one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I am in this job. I want to make a difference, and like I said earlier, I want to speak for things that can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's why I do this job.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I'll touch on that 'cause I see you guys out at Chaffee. That's where I hunt a lot. I hunt some stuff in Cedarville and Natural Dam area, but I really like to see you guys out patrolling out there. I feel like it holds people accountable because it's so easy for somebody to take a deer, throw it in the bed of their truck, and just drive out of the base.
Mhm.
And when you guys are out there, I feel like it holds people accountable.
Absolutely.
Just your presence. And with today's world, I mean, they see you, they get checked, they're going to text their buddy. Their buddy may be
Mhm.
hunting. They're like, hey, game warden's out here. It's going to hold them accountable.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, I said that was the last question. I'm going to ask one more. If someone witnessed poaching, what is the best way for them to report it?
So you can Google Arkansas Game and Fish Commission dispatch. We
Mhm.
have dispatchers in our dispatch room 24/7.
Okay.
They'll answer the call and you tell them what county it occurred in, a description. They'll send it to us and we'll call you back.
Yeah.
A lot of people in Crawford County have my number. You
Yep.
Call me directly anytime. If I don't answer, send me a text because a lot of times I don't have great service where I'm working.
Yeah.
Um,
I wrote that down because that time that I caught that spotlighter, if I didn't have your number, I was thinking like, do I call 911 or what?
So-
like, what do I do? Like,
I wouldn't
911,
call-
what's your emergency? I'm watching a guy spotlight.
It's been done before.
Yeah.
A lot of times. The county sheriff's office has my number too.
Cool.
And my partners, they'll call us too. So
Cool.
you can call the sheriff's office if you have to.
Yep.
Especially if it is an emergency.
Yep.
With that being said, we offer something called a Watts line. It's money for violations. If you are to turn in a hunting and fishing violation, specifically.
Now you're talking my language. What we got to do?
You can get a certain percentage of the fine money if we are able to make that case.
Elijah's buddies better look out.
Have you ever met Chris Hacker?
No, I sure haven't. But that's something that kind of an incentive we do because there's 2 of us in a county. We can't be everywhere at once.
Sure.
80% of my cases I make during deer season are from calls I get.
Cool.
You can get, it's actually a pretty good amount of the fine money if we are able to make a case on it. Now, if you call and say someone shot a deer, I don't know when or who it was, but that's not. If you give us information that gets us to arresting someone with a citation, then you can get a certain amount of money for that, depending on what the violation is. The more significant, the higher the money.
Well, that guy that I told you and Michael about, you need to keep a record of that. You ever catch him, I want to see my fine
deal.
Well, Kurt, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Behind the camera here, he didn't want to be on air, but we got Jake Stanford, which is his partner.
That's correct.
And me and Jake have a little bit of history. I worked at the Crawford County Sheriff's Department with him. I thought I wanted to be a cop or a game warden for a little bit, and
we're hiring.
And I worked at the Sheriff's Department. We was in a riot together, so that's.
You were there for that?
Yeah.
That was wild.
That's wild. So anyway, thank you so much for being on.
Hey, thank you.
We really appreciate it.
We'll do it again.
Yep, we'll do it again. We'll keep everybody informed, and hopefully have a good hunting season.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you guys. Welcome to the Round Here podcast, presented by the Heritage Group Real Estate Company. Whether you're driving a back road, working cattle, baling hay on a hot summer day, or cooking breakfast in the duck blind, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us as a few good old boys from around here sit down with folks that live just right down the road to share their stories, their memories, and what makes this place home. This is the Round Here Podcast.